Is there any reason why big stars, women, are not necessarily very good friends? I mean, you never hear of you and Ava Gardner or Katharine Hepburn or Marlene Dietrich going fishing together. I mean...
Well, you know, it really depends on who you work with. And you see, we don't work together very often. Mm-hmm. For instance, the group of people I knew the most were the people that I worked with at Warner's all those 18 years. And if I had been at Metro, I probably would have known many of those people much more, because they all knew each other. I don't think it's by any intent or jealousy or not wanting to know each other. I think all of those people you're talking about were very occupied all those many, many years. And it does not leave much time, really, to have a lot of friends.
And then wouldn't it be awfully hard to, really, frankly, to just like somebody who really is in competition with you for the country's affection? Or is
no, I haven't got that. I think it's up to you. I think that if you can't be as good or better, it's not the other person's fault. No, I've never felt that kind of jealousy at all. Yeah. No. Now, if I went to work today with Raquel Welch, no doubt I would look at her every morning and want to kill her.
You wouldn't, would you?
No, I wouldn't, but I would be very envious of, say, the way she looked. Mm-hmm. But that's the wrong way to approach it anyway. Yeah. It's the wrong way to approach it.
If you'd been trapped in Myra Breckinridge, how long do you think you would have lasted?
Well, they wouldn't have gotten me there in the first place. I mean, I would never have signed to do Myra Breckinridge. You know, I think it's disgrace.
Do you? Yeah.
Oh, how do you put that book? Number one, how do you read the book? I don't know, because I made a few chapters and thought, oh, come on. Why do you in the first place start to film that? You can't film that book. You see, anything today they get that's a little bit kooky, which certainly that book was, they try to film it.
I was thinking not only from, not just the material, but the fact that the movie was made in that strange way where people were making up their own dialogue and they were changing characters.
Oh, well, this I'm not clever enough to do. You see, I do think we need writers. Yeah. I mean, I bow down. You know, everything I have is due to some man writing something wonderful that I was given the privilege to play. Believe you me, in the beginning, you must have that marvelous script and that marvelous writer. Oh, I could never ad-lib. I don't believe in it.
I can always tell when they're doing it, and the supposedly wonderful
of course you can tell when
you can always tell it.
Well, this is the new thing, though, the ad-lib scene. That's making it natural, you see. Now you're not acting if you're ad-libbing. You see, you're just being you, you know. And this, of course, is against everything I believe in. Everything.
Can you tell
I'm just old-fashioned.
See if you can tell which I'm doing now. Our local stations have a message.
Unbelievable.
We were just talking about those old interviews we talked about earlier, where they, for some reason, wanted to know what a famous person's favorite color was. For reasons I never could...
Skolsky, for instance, became absolutely famous, Sidney Skolsky, and one of our really great columnists, I must say he was. But he had one pet question. What do you wear when you go to bed?
Yes.
Well, you know, really. Really.
Was it, why did he want to know? Do you have any idea?
Well, I think that was a marvelous gimmick of his. Mm-hmm. And he usually got answers. But, of course, speaking of all the silly questions, you always could say no comment. Mr. Roosevelt gave us that.
No comment.
You can never. You know, like people say when I'm coming on with someone like you for 90 minutes, don't you want to, know what's going to happen? I don't want to know the questions ahead because, number one, I trust your taste, but if you should ask me something that I really don't want to go into, I've got a perfectly nice smile, not insulting. You can say, I don't want to talk about it. Nobody can make you talk about something. So if you're fool enough to talk about it, then it's not your fault, it's mine. Like many bad interviews, this is what happens. It's the actor's fault. Yeah. They get 5 good hookers in them and tell their life story. Well, then you cannot blame the interviewer who goes out and prints it. Because he knows, the actor or actress knows she's having an interview.
A hooker is a glass of...
the stuff.
Yeah.
No, I mean, just whiskey, nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, we know each other, and I wouldn't be likely to...
No, but I mean anybody, for instance, who does an interview with drinks is a fool.
Yeah.
Because we all know we talk more with drinks. And it is really up I talk without them, you're saying. Is that what the laugh is? But, well, I'm here to talk. I have to talk tonight. Sometimes I'm very quiet. You'd be surprised.
I think we've kept it on a relatively high plane, too, up to this point.
Yes,
How did you lose your virginity, Betty?
I'll tell you.
I'm sorry, I don't know what came over me.
I have to tell you how old-fashioned I was. I married before I lost my virginity. Once more, I was 26 years old, and it almost killed me to wait. Well, it's the truth.
I swear I did not know.
That is the way. That is the way I was brought. That's the way. I think there has been an improvement over. I think this is a wicked, wicked upbringing.
To have to wait till 26.
Well, no. I mean, if you don't, just to marry for this is wicked.
Yeah.
Wicked. And I assure you that is not the way my daughter was brought up at all. Mm-hmm. You know, nor do I believe in this horrible promiscuity. But if you really love somebody, you don't just marry. It's ridiculous. My mother was wrong. It was a very stupid upbringing.
Yeah. That has to account for the gigantic divorce rate. I mean, a lot of it. It's certainly not all of it, but certainly a lot of it.
I think
the fact
it
that if you
accounted
want
for
sex,
an
you're going to get married.
enormous amount of gigantic.
And so they get married for that purpose, and it turns out
Well, it's just perfectly stupid. Yeah. It's just stupid. Because it really, you know, to be very serious on the whole subject for a minute, you started out, you never must joke with me, I'll go into something serious, you see. No, it is really one of the great gifts that God gave human beings. It's one of the most important parts of our lives. And there can be no marriage unless that is right. They can't, you can't just separate them.
No.
You know, and I think what's going on today is a vast, vast improvement from my era.
Even though you don't like certain aspects of it. Yeah.
Well, I think you must trust whatever child you give this privilege to, not to turn out to be a tramp. That's very important, but I think you must know your child.
Is your mother turning over in her grave to hear you speak even this?
No, I always talk. Mother and I always were very frank talking. We always talked about everything. She was a great chum.
Was it she?
I miss her all the time. I get
she...
to look more like her all the time too.
Did she tell you about the birds and the bees?
No, there was no sort of real education. You know, if you want to come to Connecticut in front of the fire some night, and I'll tell you about my wedding night, you'll be on the floor for 3 hours. No, I did not mean that! No! I meant laughing on the floor. Oh, no, Richard's too young. I have more sense than that.
I was just trying to think what Groucho Marx would have said.
No, I didn't.
Oh, really? Could you make it 2? I have an appointment. I think we better take a message and recover. We'll be right back.